think that the town is interested in having a landscape architect look at the park master plan as part of this process, and something that I think Park and Rec and the town Public Works Department thinks is necessary, and that's separate from our project, so there is some confusion.
Ah, I see.
You know, another question, another issue was that that amounts were being written for the library in the park just out of the donor city funds, just without sort of any oversight. And that's not true either. Everything goes through the council and through the JPA that has to do with anything concerning the library project with regard to any of the potential sites.
Thank you, Marie. We'll see your comments.
So that sounds like a good question for the FAQ. How are decisions being made for this project? And then
No funds are being expended with regard to a potential library without JPA and council approval.
Well, there's also kind of a subsequent question that came up in another volunteer nonprofit group about the difference between the Friends of the Library and the donor city funds and what they're used for. People were saying, well, you know, it's not necessary to join the Friends because they have all this money. And that we really need to be clear on the difference there. That the programs that happen at the library, the children's programs and the special books for the community come out of the Friends, and they have nothing to do with the donor city funds. So
I think too, to be careful that we don't have sort of serial meetings or conversation about the FIQs and the update to the website. Is Corinne, it would be okay if as members of this committee we think that there are questions that maybe should be addressed or asked, that we communicate those through Corinne.
That's fine.
And that maybe at our regular meetings we can discuss them at that time. Does that sound reasonable? And then with the final EIR being available in mid-June, I would encourage everybody on this committee to read it, and maybe that at our meeting in July we'll set it up as an agenda item to provide, comments and questions.
Well, I have a question on that. So similar to the last time, will copies be made for every member of the committee and
of the final EIR?
Yeah.
That's a good question for Neil, but I would assume so.
and where does it get posted? Does it get put up on the website?
Yes.
On the town?
Yes.
Or the library website?
The town website.
The town.
With regard to the FAQ and the subcommittee, I think to the extent the subcommittee has an answer to the FAQ, it's important that they respond to the FAQ as quickly as possible. A lot of the miscommunication shouldn't wait a month for us to respond. It's important to nip the miscommunication in the bud as quickly as possible. And if they need to, a lot of it can be handled by speaking with Anne-Marie Caspain. Sometimes it's a JPA question and getting an answer from Anne-Marie, or speaking with you if it's an architect or a project manager question. And particularly if they need someone who can be trusted, and not one of us can be trusted in the public arena. Or if it's just, a question of a finance question and speaking with Deborah or Pam Deal of the JPA. But I think that oftentimes it doesn't need to come to us as a committee. And if they can factually answer the question, they should do so and not wait for a committee meeting.
Otherwise, it's like the old telephone game where somebody says something in somebody's ear and the story becomes further and further from reality as it
And that's what's been happening.
I agree, but by having it as an agenda item and a conversation, at least the other members of the committee are aware of some of the questions and concerns that are being brought up.
Well,
because we're not always necessarily.
Well, they can put it on the agenda and just say, this is what we've asked.
Exactly.
But not wait to pass it by us. As this is what we've done, do you agree to it? Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. But I really think that the answers have to be very carefully vetted and have to be, you know, precise and
Factual.
factual.
And if in doubt, check with Anne Marie or you or Pam, Pam Deal or Deborah, if it's something like that, but yeah, or Corinne.
We're in agreement?
Mhm.
Do we need a motion on this?
May not be a bad idea just to dot our i's and cross our t's if we're
I so
forming a
move
subcommittee.
we form a subcommittee of Corinne, myself, and Chris to add more information, general information to the website.
With the authority to respond to questions. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that's the last item on our agenda for today.
Wow, that's great.
Any public comments before we close the meeting?
Just a question, on the meeting schedule, I have one for Wednesday, June 20th at 3 p.m., is that correct? What was the other one in June?
June 28th,
28th?
10 a.m.
Thank you.
The one on the 20th is at 3 p.m.
Correct.
And then after that, the only other meeting we talked about was the next steering committee meeting on August 2nd.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.